Welcome back again. You're still watching us here on Cairo Local Time. We are back here to discuss the current efforts that are being made by the Ministry of Tourism to expand the tourists' percentages or the number of tourists that are visiting Egypt. And they are aiming to increase them this year, 2020 by 12 million tourists worldwide, which is an approximate 11% increase than the previous year. To talk more about the different techniques and strategies being applied currently by the Ministry of Tourism in order to expand or attract more tourists, different quality of tourists, if we're going to talk about rebranding Egypt and the current initiatives, whether it's People to People One or other initiatives that advertises Egypt and publicizes it to the world, we are very much delighted to have joining us here in the studio this afternoon Mr. Nauman Hakim, who is a tourism development expert. Thank you very much for joining us. Sir, now there's a lot of efforts that have been done by the Ministry of Tourism during the past couple of years to be able to raise the number of tourists, not only that, but also to change the quality of tourists that are coming to Egypt. How do you see that from your profession?
In my opinion, that increasing the number is not enough. You mentioned the quality. The quality is very important, and also it's not how many tourism, but how much we will gain in monetary units from this tourism. I mean, how many $1 billion we will get from the tourism. This is more important, because if we get tourists with low rates, this will not help. But we should have a higher rates, because our country deserves high rates. But with the competition, hotels tend to decrease the rate, reduce the rates, to attract more tourists. But with the campaign, I think we can attract high-level tourists, offer them a good service here, to pay more, and when they will go back, they will tell their friends that we enjoyed visiting Egypt, and this is one of the most important things. When I used to work in the tourism sector, I always asked the clients, what do you think? At a certain period, some said, no, I won't come again. And some people said, no, I will come again, and I will tell my friends to come again. This depends on the experience they had here, from the service. I mean, tourism is not hotels only. It's not luxurious hotels. It's a service. And as I say always, we have hardware and software. The hotels are hardware. If you don't have the software, so you do nothing.
Yes, as a tourism development expert, you've been working, I believe, with so many, without mentioning names of companies, of course, international companies that develop this field. And if we're going to talk about the rate of development and expansion in the field of tourism, not just in terms of accommodation and hotels, but which is half of the budget usually of any tourist arriving at any destination, but also developing other services that coincide or that complement this sector.
For sure, we have the aviation, the airline companies, the direct airline that lands in our destination, like Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, Luxor, direct, not only charters. Okay, we have charters, but we need the regular lines to land in these destinations. This one thing. Second thing, the transportation inside Egypt. What I see now, that is a big improvement of the roads, which is very important to transport tourism from one destination to another. The roads are bigger, are higher, are more roads, which is very, very good infrastructure helping the tourism also.
Yes. We've seen international magazines or different international media outlets ranking Egypt among the top 5, if not the top, or the first or the second ranking in various destinations regarding tourism. For instance, Dahab came second ranking in Egypt as the top beach visits. We've seen the New Valley. There have been mountains that are very famous here in Egypt, ranked internationally. So there is, Egypt now is into an international competition with other countries when it comes to its touristic destination. How was that achieved throughout the past few years?
I think Egypt should be number one with the destination we have. It should be number one. Why we are not number one? This is due to the lack of the service.
What do you mean by the lack of the service? What do you mean by that?
The service, for example, the tourists, when he lands in our airport, till he goes out of the airport, he has some difficulties. It's not so easy to find a cab, a taxi. It's not so easy.
Is that true?
Yes. Yes. Sometimes we have to rearrange. Now it's improving, but this one of the reasons. I mean, going to the airport to leave, sometimes the traffic is not so easy. These are all the service together. All the
I mean, I'm sure it's a bit irrational, because you can't really generalize if that happens. I mean, if you've been traveling around the world, you would know that there are a lot of busy airports in other countries as well. I mean,
but well organized.
I remember I've had my luggage being lost. I've had my luggage being displaced in other countries by mistake. So it does happen, and of course the congestion in airports is just berserk. But when you say about services that needs to get better, where do you get your information from? Do you have like committees that set and take the complaints of tourists or tourism companies or travel agencies? How do you determine that there's a problem or a challenge? I like to use the term challenge more than problem, so that you can work on it as a tourism industry to make it better?
Yeah, this came from my contact with the tourists itself. I sat with them, and how you like it, what are your problems? One of the problems, for example, when they go to the market, to the local market to buy souvenirs, the prices there are, they are not stupid people, these tourists. I mean, you go there and he said, it's for $50. I said, why $50? He said, how much do you pay in your country? What's this comparison come to do?
All right.
So,
let's talk about a different thing. So, let's talk more about the type of tourism that has been included into the list of the tourist destination, or as term of tourist guides for tourists who come to Egypt. It's no longer the traditional, let's visit the pyramids and the monuments and the artifacts. There is a conference kind of tourism that has been introduced newly during the past couple of years to Egypt. There's also health tourism. There's a number of different kind of activities that would attract different types and quality and age groups of tourists.
Sure.
Let's talk about how you see that happening.
We have a diversified type of tourism, and we can do it. We can do. You say the conference, we can organize conference. We can organize events. We have, of course, the cultural side. We have the recreation side with the beaches. We have also the health. We have good doctors, and I can see that our hospitals are improving in receiving patients. We can organize all the things very easily. But again, we should concentrate on offering the good service for all these kind of tourism.
Now, we have also seen international artists, singers or actors, or international ceremonies and events on a cultural level take place in Egypt during the past couple of years. How can we make use and benefit from these tourism companies to be able to be updated so that they can also promote that to tourists? I know countries where people would travel across other countries just to attend a concert, for instance, and from there you can generate money for the economy through taking them on different tours. Has that kind of mentality and strategy been implemented around in tourism companies recently?
I'll tell you, the first concern of the tourists for Egypt was the security at the beginning, when we lost many tourists. Now, by doing these events, bringing concerts, big singers, famous singers, they can know that we have enough security. We are a secured country. We don't have a problem in security. This will, with the publicity, the people outside, they will know that we are a country easy to visit, secure to visit, and with the good events. We have to increase these events because I noticed that the events are maybe in summer, and we have AIDA will be in Luxor in October, I think,
Yes.
Something like that. This is good. We should repeat other things. We should make more visits to, for the opera house. We have a team, a famous, a known team to play in the opera house. These events give confidence to the tourist to come to Egypt.
Yes, the role that the social media or different media outlets has been playing recently, well, caused a very positive direct result on the increase of tourists, whether it's for conferences like the International Youth Conferences, or if it's on, as you said, international festivals or AIDA opera event that's going to be taking place next month in Luxor. What I'm trying to say is that people on individual levels can actually promote their country without, you know, paying a penny, if they may say.
Sure.
So it's through social media. Maybe people-to-people's initiative is built upon this kind of strategy that you have people brand or rebrand Egypt themselves through social media. This is one of the initiatives. I remember before we went on air, we were having this chit-chat, and you said that you think that initiatives are always very healthy for the Egyptian tourism sector. How is that?
It's our duty as people, Egyptian people, to promote our tourism by the social media. When I put on my account that I attended, or even if I didn't attend, I put pictures, I put videos on my account, and I have so many friends outside Egypt, they will see this, and also they will share and continue sharing. This is people to people, and it is very effective in everything. And we're talking about tourism now. It's very effective in tourism. It gives confidence to the tourist. It sees that we are doing such things here and encourage him to come and visit it.
A lot of people around the world are very much anticipated and eager, waiting for the inauguration of the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is expected anytime soon, the end of 2019, 2020, and even the international media are planning big events to actually witness this grand opening. With such an event, what role does the tourism company do? Do we have councils or communities that are in between, collaborating between the Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Culture, for instance, Ministry of Antiquities in case of such a museum, and the tourism industries to arrange and organize group tourists coming from across the world who would most likely want to witness this inauguration?
Of course, they have to make good publicity for that, to bring people to visit the inauguration. And one other thing I would like to mention, Tutankhamun now is in Paris. And he is the most visited in Paris now. 1.5 million tickets were bought during the few days to visit Tutankhamun. This is a kind of exporting our monuments, and then these people will come and see more in the inauguration and after the inauguration of this new museum.
Yes, we want to talk about the revenues, because a lot of people believe, or it is an actually fact, that, well, not just this tourism industry, a very important pillar of the Egyptian economy, but almost every household is being affected directly or indirectly through the increase and decrease of tourism. A lot of people would not be very much aware how is that possible. From your field of specialization, how is it true that every person is affected directly, and from there, what is the role of every person in helping promote their country and attract more tourists?
Yes, the section of tourism employs a lot of people, starting from the taxi driver to the industry to all other services, the restaurants, the production of food sold to the hotels, to the restaurants. I mean, in every aspect we have increase of production to serve the tourism. And our role is to give a good service. I mean, if I am going to to sell food to the hotel, I have to sell a good quality of food. Towels, I have a good quality of towels. All this factory of towels and papers.
Yes, although I disagree with you. They have very good towels here in all the hotels in
Improve
Egypt.
it,
I don't know how many
improve it.
hotels have you been to, sir, but they're great. Yeah, towels is a main concern, I guess. Mr.
one of the
Noman
things,
Hakim, tourism expert or tourism development expert, thank you very much for joining me
Thank you.
on Cairo Local Time. Brings us to the end of our episode of Cairo Local. Thank you very much for watching.